What's going on, people? This is round two slash episode two of the Power Talk podcast, or my AKA my daily vlog, weekly vlog. Um, I'm just gonna go ahead and start with it this week's because this has been a long and at sometimes difficult and challenging week. But I like to call them challenges or obstacles because eventually I'm gonna overcome them. At least I try to. And above all, I just want to talk about the struggle. And to clarify about the struggle, I mean the struggle of like finding the motivation to get up and go to the gym or work out, or even on more basic terms or levels, the struggle of just getting up and putting in work towards what it is that you want to give to the world every day. That struggle is an everyday struggle. That struggle is an every moment struggle. And I have been feeling that a lot, not only this past week, but this entire year. Had some tough training sessions this week, both solo and with my coach. And it does nothing but to serve me and make me a better and stronger person. And the reason why I bring that up, and I was talking about struggles, because this year, I've had the biggest struggle I've had in in my career as a fighter. But that, I mean, over quarantine from the start of the pandemic till about when things opened up, which was about 4 to 6 months. I'm talking about no gym access, none of that stuff. I gained about 50 pounds. And on top of what I already had gained from last year's struggle. And before I go any further, I'm just gonna say, like, fuck depression. Depression is a pain. Depression hurts you. Depression hurts the ones that you love. Depression is like turning off the sun when you're trying to like get your plants or your life to just grow, because nothing grows in the shade. And with depression, that shade is always there 24/7. And with that depression, all my life, like when it gets heavier, I get heavier. It's like they're just symbiotic like that. In that relationship, my depression gets heavier, and consequently I get heavier as a person. And that's disheartening, because having to start over is difficult. Yes, you have the progress and the experience from having gone the distance in the past, and you know that you can do it again. And this is making no excuses. Getting up and starting from where you are now and trying to keep that in perspective when you remember where you were is hard. It's extremely hard. And that sometimes you feel like you're winning, you see the scale moving, you see punches coming out more fluid, you see your movement getting better, and you see people like, commenting, showing you love and stuff at the gym. Then other times, the scale doesn't move, or it goes in the opposite direction. You're tired. You're habitually tired. When you're my size, I'm currently 470, 460, 470-ish. I haven't weighed. I need to weigh soon. And for those of you that knew me in the past, that's big. I was big. That's bigger than I was when I was fighting as an amateur. And I know that. I don't need anybody else to remind me of that. I don't need anybody to remind me where I come from, how much weight I need to lose. Because if I were to be told to lose X amount of weight, it's still a drop in the bucket towards what I'm working towards to do for making this a complete overhaul of my life. And I think people ignore that. People don't consider themselves fat phobic, or they get angry at me or shocked at what I do in the gym because of my weight and my size, or the fact that I am fat, and they want to put me into a box Like, oh, he's probably gonna throw up doing this, or he's probably gonna quit within the hour, or he's not gonna show up again. Or it's like pseudo positivity, like, oh man, I see you working. Well, sometimes that is genuine. I appreciate that. I appreciate the love. But other times it's like, oh man, I'm really shocked that his big self came in today. Or I'm shocked that he actually put together a competent workout and didn't quit. And all those things, the good and the bad, they're necessary, because if there is no struggle, there is no progress. I may not have had the largest or the longest or the brightest amateur record, but my battle with weight and this challenge that I know I'm going to overcome and become the champion I'm going to be, both in life, both literally as a world heavyweight champion, and then secondly, both like as a champion who overcome all the obstacles and the trauma that a lot of you guys you don't even know about. It's motivation for me. I see people like Anna Ruiz Jr. or Tyson Fury, who people call them like, oh, a fat ass, a fat fuck, oh, a slob, obese, and people are throwing those words around, and they get into the ring just like people have done it with me, those same exact things. And then I get into the ring and I work with my bones popping, my joints and my muscles screaming, like literally screaming, and I'm just focused, working through all that pain, the emotional pain, the suicide ideation, the drowning in depressive thoughts and anxiety, performance anxiety, because you feel like you don't belong, because people that look like you don't continue. You're running a one-man race because you're surrounded by people that look like you, that don't look like you, and they try to relate to you with being fat. For them, it's like, oh, I was 15 pounds over my 5% body fat weight, and there's nothing wrong with that. People have different goals, but it's hard for me, or it's hard and frustrating when people try to belittle what you do or what you're going through by relating in ways that it just doesn't compare. You could have empathy for somebody without trying to make it about you and saying, oh, I struggle with that too, when it really wasn't your struggle. And I think that's something that the world needs more of. The world needs more empathy. Because, like, especially in fighting as fighters and all this stuff, Teddy Atlas said, and if you like him, if you don't love him, he said this one quote that's always stood out to me. In boxing is a one sport where a man or anybody can change their entire life on one given night. And that's what keeps me here. That's why I fight so freaking hard. And I'm going to continue to fight. So I just wanted to just ruminate on that and challenge you, the viewer, whether you watching this in jest or watching this because you genuinely support. I just want to challenge you. Think about what it is that you're passionate about, how much work you put into it, or how much work that you put into it in the past, whether you quit or you change passions or whatever. And think about how it will make you feel if somebody tried to invalidate what you were doing based on something minute as like, oh, how you look. Not how you perform, but how you look. Think about that. Because I'm pretty sure it doesn't feel good, does it? And I want you to take it a step further and wonder and ruminate on whether or not you've ever done that to somebody. Because there are people out there fighting battles that you can't even comprehend. Some people carry that well, some people hide it very well. Either way, everybody's fighting something. And I believe that everybody deserves the same respect and the same grace as far as in that sphere that we demand for ourselves. So before you think on whether or not I let myself go, or I am letting myself go, or if I'm not working hard enough, sit there and think or wonder on like what it is that I possibly or I have overcome just on the way to the gym or into that moment or into whatever environment where I run into you. So always forward and keeping my head towards the sun with this one, because struggle's always going to be there. But if we run away from struggle, then we stay stagnant, and I refuse to do that. I've won before, I've lost before, I've been hurt in this game. I've gained and I've lost friends, followers, weight, etc. It's gonna keep happening. But one thing I will never do, and you can put everything on that, is quit. So keep your heads up, people. Keep your minds open, and always remember protect yourself at all times, because life, struggle, all those things are coming at you, and you can't fold when it does. Always forward, people.